Good morning and welcome. I hope everybody is having a wonderful day, whether you're watching in the morning or the afternoon. For me, it is Monday morning. I am starting my week and I want to just really focus on helping you start the week off right also. So I'm just trying to see if I can get my comments up. I normally like to bring my laptop so I can see what your comments are, but I did forget it. And I am going to introduce myself really quick. My name is Evelyn Knight, for those of you who are watching me for the first time. I am the host of the Childcare Business Coach podcast. I am the founder and CEO of Childcare Business Professionals, which is a company that helps childcare business owners and directors learn how to find success while maintaining high quality programs that are all based on the children, doing what's best for the children. I can tell you guys, I was an owner once who did not think it was possible to have a high quality childcare center and turn a profit. But I've learned that it is possible. You can do both and have a dream team on top of that. So I help owners, mainly owners and directors, learn how to create that dream team, how to really just get those systems in place to get your life back. So if you're an owner who is working like 60-hour weeks, you need to get a hold of me. I can definitely help you learn how to take control again of your life. I'm also a child care center owner, just like you, and I am going to turn my camera just a little bit. I'm seeing a thing. I am a child care center owner just like you. I will be at my center later today, and so I know what it's really like. As a business coach, I know what it's really like to be out there in the world with you guys. I'm there in the trenches working through COVID, so I get it. So today we're focusing on mindset. I'm not going to waste your time. We're just going to get right into it. And every Monday, I like to start your week off with just focusing on mindset, because the power of mindset is incredible. You really can dictate the trajectory of your life when you have the right mindset and when you focus on the right things, which is why I like doing this series for you guys on Monday mornings. Let's get our week started off right. And if you're on the East Coast, I know it's not morning for you. You're probably just starting your afternoon. But whether you watch this on Monday morning or you're watching the replay, I just really want to help with your alignment and that mindset. It's so very important for us to have our mind in the right place at the beginning of the week, especially, right? It's really just a game changer. So that's why I do the Mindset Mondays. So join me every Monday. I'm here every Monday at this time. And just to help you focus on what can be the possibilities. In our society, I think we focus way too much on what we don't have, what we can't do, what isn't possible. And we aren't looking at what is possible and what we can do and how much there is. I was once upon a time stuck in a victim's mindset, and I always looked at things like they were happening to me. Everything always happened to me. And I just didn't really, I just kind of felt like a victim all the time. And when I had this shift in my life, and I just realized that, that's just life. Life is going to be 50% good, 50% bad. That's life. But what we do with it, how we interpret it, is the game changer, right? What is going on in our lives, the interpretations that we make of the incidents that go on in our lives are the game changer. I know many of you who are going through a lot right now, the first thing you're going to think to yourself is, yeah, but you don't know what I'm going through. You guys, let me tell you, if anybody can tell you about strife, it is me. I've gone through so much, and I'm currently going through a lot, you guys, and I still show up with a smile on my face. For those of you who've been watching me for a while, my husband has end-stage kidney disease. He is on dialysis 7 days a week. There have been complications. It is getting very, very hard. Very hard, I can tell you. He doesn't like me to talk about details, so I'm just going to leave it at that. But I can tell you guys what I deal with every day. I am a full-time caregiver. I own 2 companies, and I can still show up with a smile on my face, you guys. So trust me, if I can do it, you can too. and I am here to encourage you. If you need to send me a message, if you're really struggling, I've been seeing a lot of distress lately with everything going on, message me. I'm more than happy to be an ear. Sometimes having that anonymous ear can just be so incredibly helpful. So let me know what you need. And, my members and I, it's amazing, the membership group that I have with the ladies and the camaraderie, and we just really help each other out. It's just awesome. So one of the things I really want to focus on today is I really want you guys to look at 2020. Last week, my focus was looking over the last year, and it's been crazy, hasn't it? Have we ever seen such a crazy year? And in today's session, I am going to ask you guys to be active participants. I would love for you guys to participate with me. Tell me what's going on. I cannot see the comments once again. I don't know why. I'm sure I have my settings on incorrectly, but I can't see, but I will go back and read your comments. So interact with each other, leave me comments. I'm going to ask you guys some questions, answer them in the comments. It's really helpful if you really just interact and absorb and get into this. Okay. So the first thing I want you guys to think about, and this is a challenge that was given to me last week that was really incredible. So I wanted to bring it to you guys too. I want you to think of 3 things, right? And get a piece of paper out, write it in the comments, do what you need to do, get your phone notes out, but I want you to write down, what are 3 things that you accomplished this year, or that you faced this year, or you overcame this year that you never thought you were going to overcome or be faced with, right? COVID has really given us some unique challenges. And I think as childcare professionals, every one of us has faced a challenge at this point that we have stood up to and we are overcoming. If you're active still, if you're watching this, there is something you've overcome. Whether or not it is the isolation that we had to go through, being quarantined, we made it, right? We made it through it. We're here. And I don't know, some of you might still be in that position. Whether it was just keeping your doors open, you're still here, right? Whether you chose to shut down and you're still closed and you're just trying to get through that, you're still here though, right? Maybe you did close down your childcare center and you're ready to start up again. That's okay. That is okay as long as you're willing to get back up. Through life, I think we look at failure in a lens that is so inaccurate. And we hear it in the news all the time where you'll hear like, oh, this billionaire filed bankruptcy and whatnot. But you guys, that's how you grow. We grow through our failures, right? If you're not willing to fail, you will never learn how to succeed. Success takes falling down and picking yourself back up and not letting yourself be beaten. That is it. I've told you guys before that there was a time where I had an eviction notice on my center's door, and I did not let that make me quit, right? I mean, that is how close I came to losing my business. I've almost lost my business twice, and I wasn't going to let that happen. Over the years, I've decided to develop myself as a better leader, as a better business owner, so that I never have to face that again. And I'm glad to say that through COVID, I, thank God, was prepared and ready for disaster. And I luckily, thank God, with His grace, He has led me to the education that I've received, to the mentors that He's led me to, that have helped me to make sure that my business is secure now. And I don't have to worry about things like that. But those are based on choices I have made and actions I have taken, right? I have taken action to make sure that I'm okay now, right? I chose not to let an eviction notice stop me. I chose to keep fighting. I chose to walk in faith and keep going. So I really want you guys to focus on those 3 things. I wish I could see the comments, you guys. I really do. I would love to point out some of the obstacles you've overcome. Hi, Tammy. I see your picture just flashed there. I know Tammy is one of my clients and she has overcome some amazing obstacles, and she is a person that just keeps going, keeps at it, and keeps pursuing. And I just absolutely love working with her since she just has that fire and won't give up. And it's amazing how much she's done for her center. So I know all of you guys have a story. 2020 is going to be so many of our stories, right? as we go through those character building stories that we tell our children, our grandchildren, the things that formed our character, 2020 is going to be it for so many of us. So tell me those 3 things you've overcome that you can help build your character with. And what I want you guys to really think about with those 3 things is taking those 3 things, acknowledge them. Let yourself know that you did that, right? You had the strength, you had the fortitude and the wisdom. Whatever you did, whether you came to me and asked me for suggestions, if you went to another mentor and asked for suggestions, you did it, right? Whether it was your idea or not, you did it. And I want you to give yourself that celebration and realize that those 3 things are now helping you to transform into the next better version of yourself. So I would love for you guys to take those 3 things, whether you wrote it in the comments, you wrote it on a piece of paper, you got your notes out on your phone. I would love for you guys to take those 3 things later on, maybe tonight before you go to bed, do some reflection and just ask yourself, how can these 3 things shape my character? How have they shaped my character? How can I be intentional about making sure that I use these 3 things to get me to that next level, right? Through life, we are always evolving and looking to get to that next level. Eric Erickson, one of my favorite people to study, he talks a lot about when we get to the end of our lives and we look over our lives, we go through a period of self-actualization, right? And when you get to that self-actualization, that's when you kind of decide did I have a good life or a bad life? But if we live with intention, you can make sure that when we get to that last stage of life, that self-actualization is full of pride and fulfillment, right? So really think about that, those 3 things. How can they help you develop as character? Many of you might be looking at those 3 tough obstacles as weights. You might be looking at them in a negative format, right? You might be actually looking at them like I used to look at them through a victim's mentality. And you might be actually thinking to yourself that, you've gone through this and it's just such a weight on your shoulder, right? But what I really want you to do is really change your thinking and look at those 3 things as opportunities. What have these struggles brought into your life that opens up a door to opportunity for you, right? How has this opened you up as a person? How has this changed you? How can you take those 3 things that are so huge in your life right now that feel like such a big obstacle, and how can you make those help you to be the next better version of yourself? Look at them as opportunities instead of as weights, okay? We have a lot to carry right now, and I know I get bogged down every now and then too. I mean, probably once a week I have to just kind of rein myself in. I have to really just remind myself, this too shall pass. This is how I can grow from it, and I really have to be intentional. It does take intentionality. But I really want you guys to take those 3 things and look at them and say, okay, I did this. I overcame this obstacle, right? Or I am overcoming this obstacle because I refuse to give up. So now, how can I use this to enhance and build my character so that I can become the next better version of myself, right? We are always transforming. We can look at what is happening to us, what is happening around us, and we can allow it to consume us. We can allow it to just overcome and just really bog us down. Or we can look at it as an opportunity for growth. We can look at it as, okay, I am going to kill this. I am going to get through it. And by the time I'm done and over with it, I will be a better, stronger person for it, right? But that does take intention, and it does take some work. So what I really would challenge you guys to do is start journaling. Did you know that most every great leader throughout history has been they just journal all the time? It is a huge part of their routine. And I call it brain dumping. For those of you guys who work with me, you know that I do a brain dump before I go to bed. That way I can sleep. Sometimes it doesn't work, but it's great. 90% of the time it does work. The huge things are kind of hard, but basically just dump everything onto a piece of paper. It may take me a minute some nights it'll take me 30 minutes, but you just get all that stuff that's stuck in your head on paper. And it really gives you clarity. So if you take those 3 things that you have accomplished this year that you never thought you would make it through, right? If you just stayed open, my center stayed open, we never closed. That is a huge accomplishment. You're still open, right? If you closed, that is also, it was a hard decision. Give yourself grace in that. Give yourself grace if you chose to open and your kids got, somebody in your center got COVID. Give yourself grace because we all make the decisions based on our best intentions and the information we have now. I've talked about it before, but I think I'm going to touch on it a little bit again because I see so many of us beating ourselves up over the decisions we make. So I want you to really think about something I taught on a few months ago, and now a lot of this is coming to fruition. So if you've been watching me for a few months, back in March, I was talking about the decision-making process, right? And I really wanted you guys to think about the fact that when you're making decisions, in the here and now, we don't have all the information. We don't have all the facts, right? So if you chose to close your center, or if you chose to keep it open, and for some reason you're regretting that decision now because you have all the facts, and things have changed. Like if you chose to keep your center open and you had COVID go through it, and now you're thinking, oh, I made such a bad decision, and you're beating yourself up over it. I really want you to remind yourself that when you made that decision, you did not have all the facts, okay? That past version of yourself did not know what was coming. The person you are today does, right? Today, you have all the facts. You have retrospect, okay? Retrospect can sometimes be our biggest enemy. Do not let that bog you down. Do not allow that to consume you or allow it to make you feel guilty. You did the best you could with the information that you had at the time. Now that you have more facts, it's really easy, right? To be able to judge yourself. It's really easy to go back and tell yourself, man, I should have, I could have, I would have. But don't do that to yourself. You didn't have all the facts then. You didn't know what was coming, right? You did the best you could with what you had. You did not have all the facts. The person you are today has all the facts. The person you were in March did not have all the facts. Okay, so give yourself that grace and let yourself off the hook. When you start really torturing yourself over the decisions you make, really just tell yourself, wait a second, I didn't know everything then that I know now. I did not know that when I chose to close my center down in March, it would be August and I would still be closed. I did not know that. Or I did not know when I chose to keep my center open that COVID would run through my center. I did not know. I made the best decision with the information I had today. And I am not going to beat myself up for that. That is something I've really, really had to teach myself over time. There's a lot of things that I've done and I didn't do that really for a few years, I let them just overcome me with guilt and with just grief almost. And when I really just decided that, you know what, back then I just didn't know. I didn't know what the effect my decision would have. Releasing that is huge, you guys. Releasing it is huge. I do want to qualify that though with an accountability thing, because one of my biggest things is accountability, right? If anybody who's ever worked for me knows, I will forgive almost anything. You can royally mess up, but if you come to me and say, I'm sorry, I did this, this is exactly what I did wrong, I will not let it happen again, I'll forgive you, because accountability to me is such a huge sign of character. And it's also a huge sign that you can grow. I can work with anybody who will take accountability for what they've done. I can help coach them. I can help lead them. I can help them transform. But I cannot help if you don't take responsibility. So as I'm saying to give yourself grace and not to judge yourself, I also have to qualify that with you have got to also take accountability though. You have to acknowledge, okay, this is what I did. This is where I went wrong. That's okay. We're not going to do it again and move on. Just don't let it linger in your head, right? So do analyze yourself. Constantly be analyzing yourself, your actions, who you are, the decisions you make. Look, how can you do it better next time, right? But once you figure out how you can do it better next time, take action on that and let go. Do not allow the guilt and just don't let all that junk overcome you, right? That guilt and the just living in the past, don't let it overcome you. Let it go, right? Once you figure out a plan, you take accountability and you move on, right? So that's the thing. I don't want you guys to totally let yourself off the hook, because then that takes the accountability piece off. But I also don't want you guys to torture yourself over the decisions we make. We so do that. There are some decisions that we make that there really is no accountability in, right? That, like, if you chose to stay open, and what do? I chose to stay open, right? And I know that even if my center does get COVID, that I had to serve these other families. They needed me so bad that it still outweighs the fact that these people really, really needed us. Okay. So if you chose to close and you're really struggling now and you really need to open, but things are really just struggling for you. If you chose to close, that is okay too. And now you're just, the money is, you didn't know it was going to last this long. So now is the time to come up with action plans and take action. Right? So if you're struggling with anything like that, now's the time. Let's make a plan, take action, and move on. So that is pretty much where I really want you guys to think about. The other thing I really want you to think about, the second, is all the noise that's around us right now, right? It is so incredibly stressful. I have really stopped watching the news. I am a news junkie normally. I love all of that stuff. But right now there is so much going on that I have just decided it's just too much. There's too much noise. There's so much negativity out there, and it is exhausting, right? If you go through your Facebook feeds or Instagram, I don't care what you're on, even my TikTok feeds are becoming bogged down with all that negativity stuff. Just really watch how much noise you're allowing to come in, right? That if you're going through and you're just seeing all these political posts and all these I hate COVID type of posts, Rona is ruining my life, and all, you just really, really watch your exposure. During the beginning of all this, I really told you guys to put time limits on how much time you spend on social media, right? I asked you guys to put a timer, and that's something I've done on my phone. I actually now have a timer so that I won't stay on social media. I really don't scroll through my Facebook feed anymore. I don't know. I try and post some positive stuff every day. I try to put something, at least one thing that's positive, maybe funny or whatever, to just lighten things up a little bit. But I would really suggest that you guys stop the noise. Listen to what's coming in to you, right? If it's constantly just people who are exhausted, bogged down, and all this negativity, you are going to be exhausted and bogged down, right? So really take some time to just detach from that, from the media. Do something. If you listen to some positive podcasts like I do, and I know I said this last week, but I cannot stress to you guys how important it is to fill your mind with the positive, right? Instead of letting all this negativity come in, because there is so much noise out there right now. There is so much judgment out there right now. And what's happening is I'm seeing a lot of people getting their validation from all this. They're getting their validation from all this noise, and they're looking at what is everybody else doing, and how is everybody else handling this, and how is everyone else going to vote, and they're finding their validation through what is coming at them, but it's also negative. So I really, really want to caution you guys on where you're getting your validation from, where you're getting your narrative from, right? And last week I talked to you guys about really controlling that narrative that's coming into your mind and really taking control of that. But what you're putting in is going to influence that, which is why I try and start your weeks off with some positive mindset stuff, my Mindset Mondays, because I want to start your weeks with getting something positive into your mind. I want you guys to start thinking in a way that will serve you instead of exhaust you. Because right now, in the world we live in the United States, well, around the world, I actually talk to people all over the world, and believe it or not, you guys, we're doing so much better than so many other countries. I mean, some of the things I get from people in other countries are just heartbreaking. So, but no matter where you are right now, it just seems like there's so much negativity. And that's really why I want to start you guys off every week with something more positive, something focused on helping you grow instead of helping us digress. Right now, if you really lean in to what is going on in social media and the world, you will digress, right? We are not growing through all this negativity. It is exhausting. So focusing on what will help us to grow is so much better. What I will do for you guys too is in the comments, I will actually, when I'm done recording, leave some links to a few different podcasts that I listen to. And of course there's mine. You guys can listen to my podcast. I'm going to do a shameless plug, but that should help you guys with just focusing on more positive, like filling us up with positivity instead of negativity. I do know quite a few different people in the podcasting world. I will reach out to some of them too to see who they listen to, so we can just fill our podcast lists with positive podcasts. If you guys don't listen to podcasts, I highly suggest it. I listen when I'm cooking, when I'm in the shower, when I'm doing anything, I'm driving. I just have my podcast going, or some music, positive music, anything that just lifts me up, right? Sometimes even when I'm working out, which is kind of weird because I don't know. I know a lot of you guys do that though, but sometimes doing weight training and listening to podcasts doesn't quite work. The music is better on that one. But if you're going for a run or a walk, a positive podcast can really just help shape that. I actually listen to some workout podcasts that just help me motivate on days that I just don't want to do it. And so on that note, I also want to talk to you guys about overall health. Sorry, I have to drink some of my tea. My throat is getting so dry. I'm getting a lot of messages from you guys about how I do it all and how exhausted you are, right? And this is the big thing people just keep messaging me about is how do I care for my husband? How do I run 2 businesses? How am I mom to a teenage boy? How do I juggle it all? And I'm still here with a smile on my face. I still get it all done, right? Sometimes I have to ask myself too. I do take 1.5 days off a week, and you guys, I don't need to work as much as I do. I am a workaholic. I will admit it. First and foremost, I love my job, my second job, which is this one here, and I actually really enjoy it. So I do spend parts of Saturday mornings, but when push comes to shove, I probably still work a 40-hour week, including my 2 businesses, and not including my husband's care, but including my 2 businesses, I do work a 40-hour week. So I've been getting a lot of you guys messaging me, asking me how I juggle it, how do I do it all? And there's a couple things, quite a few things. I teach on this. In my membership course, it is, gosh, I don't even remember how many weeks it took me to teach you guys. It's like a 3 to 5 hour long training, and with a lot of tools that I use. But I show everybody how I'm very good at time management, and I've taught my members how to manage their time to become more efficient, right? It's all about being efficient. And managing your time well. But the other component is taking care of yourself. And I know a lot of you, when you don't have time, the first thing that goes is self-care, right? You put yourself on the back burner. But you guys, I cannot stress to you guys how important it is. That old adage, I'm sure most of you have heard it, but I'm going to tell it to you again, about the oxygen masks. If you're on an airplane and there's low pressure, no oxygen, and the oxygen mask comes on first, do you put the oxygen mask on your child first or yourself, right? As moms, our instincts are my child. But how are you going to put an oxygen mask on your child, and how are you going to care for your child without oxygen yourself when you're passed out because you suffocated, right? You've got to prioritize self-care. How are you going to nurture your family? How are you going to nurture your business? If you're not taking care of yourself, you will suffocate. In 2012, 2013, I got very, very sick. And I actually now have a neurological disease that I will have for the rest of my life because I wasn't taking care of myself. It wasn't the only reason. I mean, it's something I was predisposed, I was born with, but it could have stayed dormant my entire life, right? But now my life has been adjusted to this disease because of lack of self-care. I didn't have these things into place. I was very overweight. It just wasn't who I am today, and it cost me my health for the rest of my life. I will struggle with a neurological disease, and which isn't so bad. I mean, it sucks sometimes, but it's also good. It keeps me grounded. But there's always a positive, you guys, even being diagnosed with a neurological disease. And let me tell you, when I was diagnosed, since I do have my degree in psychology, in neurological psychology, I knew exactly what this disease meant for me. You want to talk about torture, get diagnosed with a disease that you know exactly what's going to be done to your brain. That's pretty hard pill to swallow. So it was very devastating for me, but in the long run, I'm grateful for it now, because I've learned so many lessons from it, and I've learned how to ground myself, how to take care of myself, how to prioritize, and how to slow down, and how to just appreciate things more, right? So there's always, and that's when I say to you guys, whatever you're going through, I know it's rough, but there is always opportunity. Even in getting a lifetime disease that I will have forever, there is opportunity, right, in everything. So and you guys, I will be the first to tell you, my husband, is terminally ill. I will be the first to tell you that it is very hard sometimes to find opportunity and a positive in everything, okay? It is very, very hard. But if you look hard enough, if you pray, I mean, for me, it takes a lot of prayer and a lot of faith in God, but you will find it, right? You will find it. And sometimes we just have to be grateful for the past. Sometimes that's where we're going to find that opportunity, is just the gratitude for what we've had, right? But I really want you guys to focus just on that positive outcome, right? And I am so sorry, I totally got off track and I forgot where I was going with this. And I wish I could see your comments, because you guys could bring me back in. But anyway, to get back to it, I just totally lost my train of thought. I am so sorry, you guys. That message altogether, though, you guys, just focus on the positive. If I can find it, you can find it too. If I can wake up Monday morning after my week last week and doctor's appointments and the stuff that we went through, you can too. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. There is. It just is all about mindset. It's the narrative that you allow in your mind. So that is what I have for you guys today. And the other thing, one more thing I do really, really want to talk about before I end, actually, is leaning into your faith, right? And you guys, if you've been watching me, I am a woman of faith, and it is just, I couldn't do it without it. That is my game changer, absolutely. Without my faith in Christ and knowing that no matter what happens, He's there. And let me tell you guys, there are times that I get angry and I kind of have to ask Him, like, why are you letting this happen to me? I have been faithful. I have been good. Why? And it helps, and I know that my thinking in that is all wrong. So don't worry. I know it's called a fallacy. If for those of you who don't know, it is fallacy type of mindset, and I can come back to it. But what I want you guys to understand is that even He's okay with that. He's okay with me coming to Him and saying, why, and questioning. And sometimes I'll journal it, and I journal prayers a lot. It helps so much to write out a prayer. I find out so much about myself. So that is something I would lean into too, you guys. If you have your faith, lean into it right now. Lean into the power that God gives us, just the comfort. I mean, even when things seem overwhelming, we don't have to do it alone. And that is, I think, the biggest thing for me, is just knowing I'm not alone. And no matter how angry I get, no matter how sometimes I question God for allowing these things to happen to me, He always shows me that He's there. And it's just the most amazing thing. And when He just reminds me that He still sees me, He's still there, and He hasn't forgotten about me, and He never does, right? It's amazing. I don't know why I get blown away by it. I've seen it so many times throughout my life. My entire life, I've just seen the power, and it just sometimes still blows me away, which is just the coolest thing when you get blown away like that. So, in the comments, you guys tell me about a time. And, I'm sorry if you're not a person of faith. It is just such a huge part of me that I've got to talk about it. It is such a huge, it is me. It really is. And my faith in my God is just huge to me. And it is what, honestly, I don't think I could get through without it. So let me know, you guys. I love to see the stories of how God has really showed up in your lives and how he has really impacted. And I mean, just those things that will blow your mind. A couple of you guys, my clients, I see Colleen is on here, and I know we're talking in a little bit, half an hour? You and I have an appointment. But a few of you guys, it's really cool how you guys are brought to me. And there's one in particular that one of my newer clients, the alignment that God bringing us together was amazing. And I can't even tell you, it is amazing. It blows my mind and it's so exciting. So let me know about the things that God has done to you. It'll help lift my spirits and everybody else's too, that have just blown your mind. It is just, it's great. It just gives me chills. And if you're really struggling, I would lean into that. Read stories about that amazing change, that impact, and it will help tremendously. So I will end it now. I just had to end it on that because I would really be doing you a disservice if I didn't give you the whole picture on how I get through and how I cope. And that is such a huge piece. So I hope you guys all have a fantastic week, and no matter what we all face, it is going to be a great week. So everybody have a wonderful Monday or whatever day you're watching this. And if you watched on the replay, give me a #replay. Have a great week, everybody. Bye.